me something, Uncle Money?
Welcome to another episode of Practice Prosperity. We have a guest today, Miss Keshia Joachim. She is here and she's going to explain her story. I think she has two different services that she's going to provide and explain what she does in her law practice. So, welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, if you don't mind, please tell me about your firm, the services that you provide, and the type of clients that you do serve.
Sure. So again, my name is Keshia Joachim, and the name of my law firm is called K&A Law Group. At K&A Law Group, we do trademark, copyright, business formation, and immigration law. So we work with small business owners as well as
Very good. Awesome. So, go a little deeper into the services that you offer for small business owners, because that's who we speak to a lot here.
Yes. So in regards to small business owners, I help them basically with the formation of their business. A lot of times people don't know what proper legal foundation they need to have in place. And it's vital in order for your business to be successful to get those foundational things in place. So again, trademarks, if you have a business name, slogan, a logo, or so forth, definitely want to trademark that. And of course, need to have a proper business entity if you want an LLC, a nonprofit, or maybe you want something else. That's something that we're able to offer you.
I love that. Yeah, and it's complex because it's not a one size fits all. So having somebody with your experience is helpful. Now, I always say, financial literacy begins at the dinner table growing up. So what was your experience growing up? Were you told anything about finances or how to manage your money?
Honestly, growing up, I was not told about finances. As I stated, I do offer also immigration law within my practice because my parents actually, migrated to this country from Haiti. Unfortunately, they didn't have the tools. So my parents didn't have the tools to teach me about it. Of course, I did not have the tools. So it's once I got older, I knew the importance of generational wealth and, of course, balancing, my checkbook and so forth.
Very good. So what do you see is different from, your friends that did not grow up with the immigrant parents versus your upbringing? Was there different things you couldn't do, could do? What was that like?
Yeah, so I definitely would say growing up with Haitian parents, very strict. I don't know what you may have heard about Haitian parents or Caribbean parents. They were very strict growing up, but they valued education.
Mm-hmm.
Hard work, great work ethic. That's something that I was able to pick up from them as well.
Very good. So Haitian parents living in Boston, is there a big Haitian community in Boston? What was it like growing up in a Boston community when you don't think of the Caribbean or any Haitian culture to begin with?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of Haitians in Boston. A lot of times when they come to the U.S., they'll go to Boston, they'll go to New York City, and they also will go to Miami, Florida. So thankfully, I was surrounded by a lot of people who were like me.
Very cool. Very good. And how is Boston as a city? Is that a place you would want to go back to and live? What is your impression?
Boston as a city, I know you've probably heard the rumors or the stereotypes about Boston, how it's a very racist city, how there's not a lot of Black people there. And I can say that it's segregated. The different towns and city are segregated. So if you go to downtown Boston, unfortunately, you're not going to see a lot of people that look like us within the city. And I do feel like when it comes to young Black professionals, they're now trying to offer some new opportunities, but they don't have that many.
Gotcha, I understand. So your parents are immigrants, you're in Boston. What made you think to become a lawyer? Because that's a long journey to undertake, having immigrant parents.
Yeah, so I knew at a young age I wanted to be a lawyer, honestly, from seeing all the injustice that Black people face. To be honest, thankfully my parents were in a position to move my siblings and I to the suburbs. And I'll never forget my brother being pulled over just because he was Black. So something called driving while Black. He'd get pulled over all the time, again, just because he was a young Black male. And I saw that injustice and other injustices that would happen within my family. And I'm like, you know what? I really want to look into the law. I want to be able to be a voice for the voiceless, people who don't have a voice, who don't have the knowledge of the law, because not having a knowledge of the law does not negate you from following the laws. So having someone within my family that understood the laws, that's something I really wanted to go into. And also when it came to people who were business owners, because I always had this business mindset. I was always interested in the transactional side of business. And that's something else I wanted to go to, be able to help people who looked like me to be successful in their business.
Mm-hmm. So you thought to yourself, I want to become a lawyer, but there's steps.
Yeah.
You have to pick a undergraduate degree, you have to pick a law school. Kind of explain that process that you thought of growing up.
Yeah, so becoming a lawyer definitely is a long journey. So of course, first and foremost, of course, you have to get your undergrad degree. So I went to Suffolk University School in Boston, and I was able to get my degree in criminology and law. And then after that, I was so busy in undergrad that I was not able to go straight into law school. I knew it was an idea of mine. So during that time, I got my master's degree at George Washington University. And then finally, I was able to go to law school and get my Juris Doctor.
Very good. So in law school, what were some unique experiences that are you utilizing today in your practice? Like who was a mentor to you? What were you going through in law school?
Yeah, law school is tough. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a lot of hard work in how they grade basically on a scale. So there's only a certain amount of people that can get A's, certain amount of people that can get B's, and so forth. And of course, being in law school, they're probably within my cohort. There maybe was 6 of us who were Black. So you can imagine the challenge there. I did fortunately have some professors that were very understanding and wanted to see me excel, that would give me advice because, I would explain to them as far as my future career goals, and they were able to point me into the right direction and have me network with the right people. Networking was also key during law school.
Explain a little bit more into that. Like sometimes going to law school and PWIs can be a lonely experience. Like what were the emotions of going into that experience? Were you used to it because you grew up in Boston, or what did you have to do something extra to make it through that program?
Yeah, honestly, I was used to it not being a lot of Black people within my class. From undergrad, I went to PWI, my master's program also PWI, and then law school as well. So thankfully, in all those situations, even within law school, I was able to find a group of people, again, who looked like me, who understood my struggles, who, wasn't in law school because of a privileged parent, because their parents donated money, or because their father, grandfathers, great grandfather all went to law school. So we all were basically first gen and kind of trying to make it through and encouraging each other through that process.
Yeah, I think that's so important, and people need to think about that going into it. Like, take time, those extra hours. Yes, you could be studying, but those relationships are actually what you're going to get through. So you obtain your law degree, you pass the bar. What was next for you?
Yeah, so once I passed the bar exam, I started working for a small firm. Thankfully, it was a general practice civil litigation firm. That was not my ideal area of law that I wanted to practice in, but it was a door that opened for me. So I was super grateful to work under that partner, probably one of the best bosses I've had within the legal field. So while I was there, unfortunately, during the pandemic, I was laid off. Like I said, I always had the idea of next steps and wanted to start my own law firm, but I thought maybe later on in my career. I didn't think that would be something right away. But getting laid off, I was like, okay, I need to think about my plan B a lot sooner than later now. So during that time that I was laid off, I was able to work for another organization, nonprofit organization, thankfully. But during that time, I said, you know what, I really need to put my extra hours into learning all that I can about starting my own law firm, networking with the right people, taking the seminars, the courses, to speed up this process. So that's what I did during that time.
So what was inside of you that you felt like, or what was the seed that was planted inside of you to want to become an entrepreneur, want to take on the stress that we take on as business owners?
Yeah. Honestly, I always knew at a young age that I wanted to have my own business. I'm thinking about little things I would do. I would do like the lemonade stands and all those things along those lines. And also my brother, my older brother was an entrepreneur. So he would always, he's in real estate. So he would always, share with me different things that he would do. And so because of that, it always piqued my interest. And I knew, again, because I didn't have that financial literacy, and that's something that I learned when I got older about generational wealth. And I knew that having my own business, it may be easier for me to have that generational wealth.
Very good. So What were your fears of starting your own business? I mean, some people have the financial constraints, some have they're worried about their reputation. Like, what was going on inside you, or were you gung ho, not scared of anything starting your business?
I actually was very afraid when I first started. I knew it was something that I wanted to do, and I knew that this was going to be a big leap of faith of actually starting my own business, starting my own law firm at that, having my own clients. So of course, imposter syndrome definitely tried to creep in like, will people hire you? Will you be able to manage it? I had a lot of thoughts running through my mind, but thankfully I had a great support system, my family and friends and people within the legal field who were able to encourage me and say, yeah, you should definitely go for it. And also people who already own their law firms, other Black women who gave me a lot of great advice in regards to what steps to take and what I needed in order for me to start my firm.
Who encouraged you to reach out to those other law firm owners? I think that's an important step a lot of people miss. Like, people
Yeah.
have already gone through a lot of headaches you can bypass just by asking the right question. So, who gave you that advice? Did you always have a network of attorneys that own businesses? How did you get that advice?
Yeah. To be honest with you, living in the DC area, the DMV, like they like to call it, it's very heavy on networking. So when I had moved out here to get my master's degree, that was one thing that everyone would say, network with people. Like after work, there was all these different networking mixers. So honestly, I felt that that helped to form that skill set of networking, of talking to the right people. So once I knew I wanted to start my law firm, I reached out to people that didn't know me. I sent them messages on LinkedIn. I sent them messages on Instagram. Again, like I said, people who I saw own their law firm. And I'd say majority, more than majority, were very responsive and gave me some great advice.
Yeah, I'm always humbled by when you reach out to people for help. They're more than happy to help. Anybody who wants to get better, I believe people are more than happy to share. So now we're going to go into your specialty. You want to open up your firm. How do you become legal?
Yeah. So with starting a law firm, of course, there's several things you have to have in place. Um, bank accounts that need to be in place. There's one called the trust account where basically the client money is held. And there's one called the operating account where basically everything is being held. If you have bills you have to pay every month, in that account, you also pay yourself. Of course, you also need a legal, a business formation, legal entity. So I am a LLC, my firm. Also, in regards to that, you need to make sure you register with the state bar, to register with the Virginia State Bar, to let them know that I do have a law firm that I am running here. So those are the basic foundations when it comes to starting a law firm.
Awesome. So you hang your shingle.
Yeah.
And I know as soon as you hung your shingle, your phone went off the hook, right? How was it the first couple of days? You telling people, "Hey, I'm in business." Like, what was that like emotionally?
Yeah, so there was a lot of emotions running through me. I did the launch, now everything's social media marketing. So, I set up that's something else that's important, set up all my, social media pages, Instagram and Facebook, let family members know the launch day, let other people know within my circle this was gonna be my launch day and kind of put it out there. I was nervous because I'm like, I need clients. So hopefully they'll be responsive to me and my services that I will be providing. So I would say the first 2 days I was thankfully was getting people reaching out to me, people from high school that were in my network, college, people who are business owners and needed some assistance when it came to trademarks and copyright. So I was super grateful for that. But of course, it's that first day of excitement, but then after that, things kind of slow down and it's like, okay, the work really needs to be done in regards to marketing.
Very good. So you help businesses set up their business, become legal, but you also have the immigration piece. Speak on to what is that like? I think for the average American, we're completely unaware about the immigration process, what it takes, how much it costs. Kind of give an overview of that process of somebody wanting to become a citizen or achieve work in the United States.
Yeah. So when it comes to immigration process, I do want to say first, when people hear that, because they hear the business formation side and they hear that I have an immigration side as well, and they're like, how did you put these different practice areas together? Again, that goes to my background. I love helping business owners, but again, I am Haitian as well. My parents, again, were from Haiti. So I do have a passion of assisting people who are from outside the country. And when it comes to my immigration practice, I help people with citizenship. I also help those who maybe have a spouse who's overseas and they want their spouse to come here. The immigration process is a little bit more complex, but again, it's transactional, which kind of similar to business where you're basically filling out forms and then kind of looking into your background. I also help people who are business owners overseas and want to come to the US. So I do have the business side of the immigration practice as well.
Very good, very good. So let's start small. So if I have a spouse that's overseas, how much does it cost the whole process to bring them over here, and now we can live life happily ever after?
Yeah, so there's several steps to that when it comes to the cost, because there's the actual first application that you would fill out with I-130. The fees have just gone up, but I believe the I-130 was originally $535 for the form. And there's something where they basically have to get interviewed by the embassy in their home country, the US embassy in their home country. That's another fee that has to be paid. And with that fee, I believe it's $325. Like I said, the fees just went up recently, so don't quote me on the fees, as they have recently gone up. And then prior to them, if they get approved, the green card's approved, there's actually another fee that they have to pay. So like a rough estimate, they could be paying a total of $2,000 just for the first half of the process. And then once they come to the States, there's a whole other process in regards to that if they want to get their citizenship. After been here for, if they've been married to a US citizen, 3 years they can apply for citizenship. If they're not married to a US citizen and they're married to a green card holder, it's 5 years. They can apply for citizenship.
Now, on a more advanced topic, let's say I have a manufacturing facility in another country and I want to start a branch in the United States. Do you help with that type of process? And what type of process is that like?
Yeah, so I do help with that type of process. There's several different business immigration visas that they offer. So if you do have a company overseas and you want to start one here, again, it would be that whole application process that you would have to fill out. You also would have to basically say how much you are investing to that company that you are starting in the US. With that particular company, you may have to invest between $50,000 to $100,000 within the US company for you to actually start it here. And then basically kind of showing how successful your company is in the other country.
Very good, very good, interesting. So let's say somebody say, I'm interested in immigration, I'm interested in business services. Like, how would they market to gain clients? How have you market to make sure that you can keep the lights on and earn an income that you would like?
Yeah. So of course, reaching out to your network, I get a lot of referrals. That is helpful. If you are doing exceptional work for the current clients that you do have, they're going to refer you out to other people. And then of course, marketing. And again, social media marketing. We are in times now, everything is online. Everything is social media, where before, if you need an attorney, you may have to go to the yellow pages years prior. Now it's, you can, go onto TikTok, you can go onto Facebook, you can go onto Instagram, and you're seeing attorneys sharing their information, giving out legal resources. It may have a little twist to it. You may see attorneys with more personality than you've ever seen them before because of social media marketing.
Very good. What is a tip you would give attorneys who want to promote their social media platform? Like, what are some things that you're doing that's like, oh, that kind of works for me?
I definitely would say find your niche area. So for me, again, I do the whole business formation, helping clients with trademarks, copyright, and actually starting a business. And I give out some valuable tips in regards to of how to even like a brand strategy. Like if someone is still in the infancy stages, maybe they're still trying to figure out, what do I want to call my business? How big do I want my business? I help with that as well. So I would focus my marketing in regards to that. But then I also do, like I said, immigration, where I help companies come to the US and start here. But then I also help people who want to become citizens and who also want to apply for a spouse. So my marketing focuses on those areas. And because my marketing focuses on those areas, I'm able to get those type of clientele to me. So I would say definitely figure out who is your client. They call it the client avatar, and how are you creating content to bring that type of client in.
Very good. So what is kind of next for your firm? Like, how do you see your firm growing? Do you want to have other attorneys under you? Do you want to have a staff of paralegal and maybe a strong marketing arm? Where do you see your firm going in the next couple of years?
Yeah, so I definitely do see my firm growing. Currently, it's myself and my paralegal, and sometimes I'll have interns intern for a semester or so with me. I do actually want to hire other attorneys that they work under me, but I feel like I still will keep it more on the smaller size, maybe, between 5 to 10 people within the company. I don't want it to be that big.
Yeah, yeah. And this is practice prosperity. So how are you taking, your firm and almost enriching yourself, making sure your personal finances are secure?
Yeah. So when it comes to my firm and my finances, again, as I said, I didn't grow up in financial literacy. So this is an area that I am continuing to learn about and grow in. I did have a financial advisor that was assisting me with my personal finances and also with the finances with the firm. And I say that is key, having someone who's in finances to help you because it's a lot, especially, if you know that this is a weak area of yours, you're definitely going to need someone to assist you. And of course, I have, my CPA that helps me quarterly in regards to taxes. So I highly recommend getting someone who's in finances to be on your team.
Very good. Very good. So let's talk about that. The CPA, a bookkeeper, or taxpayer, like those are so important. And finding the right one is critical. Like, what was your process on finding that person? Did you receive a great reference? Like, what was the process of getting that tax preparer or bookkeeper in your life?
Yeah, so I actually was referred but for this, I was referred to this person from several people. They said they're great working with small businesses, especially law firms. You should definitely contact them. So, of course, we had like the initial consultation. I love the information that they were sharing, and I could tell that they were knowledgeable and also they actually cared about what they were doing. That was important to me as well. And they've been great ever since.
Very good. So what's at the cutting edge of business formation? Like, what is something that people need to look out for that's maybe changing in the environment? What are you seeing to help business owners really prepare to be in business or to continue to operate in business?
Yeah. So, one, I would say it's very important to, even if you are not in a position to have an attorney to assist you, but be aware of what's going on out there. The laws are forever changing. Earlier this year, there was something called the Corporate Transparency Act that was passed. That was passed and it became effective as of January 1st of this year. Basically, you had to report to FinCEN who was the owner of your business. And if you do not report, you can get fined and also serve some jail time. So it's so important. Unfortunately, a lot of people like this information, of course, it's not given to the masses and not really given to people, like us, it's not really given to Black people. So as I was sharing that information on social media, there were so many questions coming in. What is this about? How do I fill this out? I want to stay compliant. So I would say definitely, go online, read what's out there when it comes to business. You can Google, what's the new laws in regards to small businesses or, being a business owner if you're not able to hire an attorney. But it is best if you are able to hire an attorney because we'll be able to take care of all of that for you.
What websites do you look at regularly to stay up to date that a normal business owner can actually consume the data or consume the information the way it's written?
I would say I'm trying to think of which one is. I'm trying to think digestible because the ones I go on are all legal based, so I don't know if it'd be as digestible to the everyday consumer. But I'd say the small business SBA website, that's helpful. They'll put information on there in regards to what's going on. Also through SBA, you can actually get a business mentor for free through their SCORE program, which is very helpful. Having someone that has that business mindset to help you to start your business, so I'd say that is helpful.
Yeah, I like to echo that. I've had a SCORE mentor a couple times, and they're very valuable folks, and they genuinely want to help businesses grow. Last thing, so what about on the immigration side? What is something that folks should look out for that you're seeing with your client base?
Yeah, so when it comes to immigration, it also goes into politics and who is the current administration. So as right now you see the political climate, things can change. So if things are going to change, if they do change, it is best that if you are looking to file anything immigration related, get it in as soon as possible. I would say that because again, with the change of administration, that can also be change in laws that could affect immigration population greatly.
There you go. Any final advice you would give somebody wanting to start their own law practice? You've gone through it, you're going through it right now. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I definitely would say take that leap of faith and truly bet on yourself. I know that it can seem scary at first. I know that imposter syndrome may kick in, but it is so rewarding. The clients that I'm able to meet and help, I can truly say that's the most rewarding part of me having my own firm, and also just the flexibility with my time, being able to run this practice, but also being able to be there for family and friends.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Keshia Joachim. I think the nuggets that you shared, especially things about starting your own business, some things folks need to think about as far as immigration, and also some things financially they need to put together before they go out on their own. So thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
The more I know, the more money I can make.